It's a loser Monday on the WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz, live from Chickies and Pete's in South Philly. I get so used to it. I've been doing the show 2 seasons now. I get so used to throwing over to you, Ike, and you screaming victory. I'm not used to going up 21-0 and then blowing the game, not scoring again against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Not used to these.
Listen, I can see how you can be spoiled. 27 out of 31 last games have resulted in a victory.
Yep, I am spoiled.
Postseason, so that certainly happens. But here we are.
That was ugly yesterday, sir.
That was. And I don't know exactly how to feel about yesterday's game. I mean, yesterday I was ticked off because, listen, you blew a 21-point lead. Albeit it was a first-half 21-point lead. A lot of game left to go, so you knew the game wasn't necessarily over. But the way they played after accumulating that 21-0 lead left a lot to be desired. And I'm glad I got 5 fingers. Well, that's 4 including the thumb. There's a lot of fingers to go around the point at people.
Yes.
And this isn't a one-person indictment. You know, listen, I'm going to start with the coaches, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, and Vic Fangio to a smaller degree. Some of the things Coach Fangio couldn't help. He lost players yesterday due to injury, but you give up those type of explosive plays, that has to go on somebody. That has to go on somebody. I mean, 14 penalties, countless plays being called back that were positive plays. Repeatedly shooting yourself in the foot. That's the mark of an undisciplined team, a not well-coached team, and those things are correctable, but they have to be addressed. And this team has to look itself in the mirror and get back to fine-tuning things, paying attention to the details, and stop beating themselves. There's an enormous amount of talent on this football team. But these guys are preventing themselves from reaching their full potential as players. And then I don't know how much help they're getting from the coaches from an offensive standpoint. You're not going to hear me say a whole lot more about Coach Fangio. To me, he got his comeuppance there when I just mentioned him. This really is on the offense and how they couldn't figure out a way to add on to what they did early in the game. This running game, Spike, we want to pay attention to so many other things. I understand the quarterback touches the ball every play, and he's a large part of how the offense goes, right? I get that. So he's always going to shoulder a share of the blame. But I don't know how we can look at this football team under Nick Sirianni and what has been the key to their success under his tenure here and not realize that the offensive line and the lack of running game is really what's holding this team back. It's a larger issue. Not being able to get ahead of the sticks, stay on schedule, keep the defense off balance. We haven't been able to do any of that because we can't run the football. And until we do that, I just don't know how far this team can go. For the first time, my confidence has been shaken as far as us winning the Super Bowl for the first time, right? I've tried to hold off on having those types of thoughts, figuring that we would figure it out and get the ship righted. Well, 11 games in, 12 weeks in, it still hasn't happened. So I'm not angry about yesterday. I'm more frustrated that they gave away a game. Yeah,
it's like when your dad says he's not angry with you, he's disappointed.
They gave away a game that that Cowboys team, listen, they played, give them credit. They stayed in there. They kept fighting. Dak kept fighting. He kept believing. I'll give them credit for that. But that game yesterday was more about what we didn't do versus what the Cowboys did.
215-592-9494. Ike, this team is cooked. They have been cooked since the moment they stepped on the field Thursday night against the Dallas Cowboys. They are a Super Bowl hangover team. This team has not shown us at any point this season that they are a Super Bowl team. they don't do anything well. They don't run the ball well. They don't pass the ball well. The coaches make confusing decisions in confusing situations. They can't decide whether they're conservative or aggressive. It just depends on the moment in time. The defense is good. It's a good defense, but it's not some defense that is going to carry you across the finish line. And these penalties that ended up killing them yesterday have happened all year long. Like what the phrase is, winning is the best deodorant. Mm-hmm. Well, we woke up this morning and there's no deodorant, and what did we notice? It stinks. It stinks in here. They haven't done anything consistently well all year. And I agree with your point on the offensive line, and the running game, 100%. But I look at it, and I think back to what we talked about in the offseason and the lead to the season. And you thought about what Saquon went through his body last year. I'm not saying he's off the hook or anything, but it shouldn't be surprising to anyone that the offensive line has been less than good and hurt all year. It shouldn't be surprising to anyone that Saquon Barkley isn't as good as he was last year. They ran the ball 500 friggin' times last year. Again, it's not an excuse. I just look around and I'm like, I say to myself, what does this team do well? What do they do well? What is the thing that we can rely on that can pull us across the finish line? And it's nothing. It's nothing. The defense is good, but if we're being honest with ourselves, we made excuses for the offense for the last 2 weeks because of the weather. There was wind, it was cold. Well, it was wind, it was cold for the other team too. Mm-hmm. And we didn't seem to say that our defense was good because the wind and the cold made the other offense good. We just said it held back our offense. So this defense that has been really, really good for 2 weeks got marched up and down the field on by the Giants, got marched up and down the field on by the Vikings, got marched up and down the field on twice by the Cowboys, got marched up and down the field on and blew a fourth quarter lead against the Denver Broncos over and over and over again. And I guess I want to be mad, but the team I saw yesterday is really the team I saw in the wins. They're the same team. They just happen to lose by 3 points instead of win by 3 points. And the final thing I'll say is you fly this close to the sun, you're going to get burned. And this is why when we talk about the number of points they score every week, that it's better to score more points than less points is like you don't know when Saquon's going to fumble. Can you control turnovers from an interception perspective? You can. You know, like you can not throw the ball. You can only throw the ball to the sidelines, those sorts of things. But these other turnovers, like Xavier Gibson did a stupid thing, but he fumbled. You know, Saquon Barkley fumbled. Those things, it's, Jalen in the, which was the Green Bay game, fumbled. Those things, you're not trying to fumble the ball. So you leave yourself that little room for error, and you get stung like they got stung yesterday. And I don't know what to expect for this team the rest of the year. I just know that when I look at it, I don't know what's carrying us. You know, I don't know what's
the DNA of winning. It's what they do. They win. They are still 8-3.
They are.
And if they win Friday, they'll be 9-3.
They will. And
it's going to take a great effort from a team to knock this team out of the playoffs. It will.
Yeah, I just don't see this team winning three games in the playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl.
That may be true, but we'll cross that bridge when you get to that bridge. Sure. Yeah, that may be ultimately true. Saying that they're not going to repeat as champions, I don't think that's earth-shattering. We don't have very many repeat champions in the NFL over the last 20 years. My thing is that they are good enough to do that, and they are beating themselves. This is a team that isn't paying attention to the details. Because, see, we're too busy pointing the finger at one another. We're too busy leaking stuff. We're too busy doing all that stuff instead of paying attention to the small things and doing those things well. We're too busy worried about who's getting blamed and making sure the finger doesn't get pointed at me or just me, making sure everybody else gets held responsible as well.
Well, to your point, I think that's a coaching issue too. That starts at the top.
Yes.
That starts at the top.
And listen, I love Nick Sirianni. I do. I think he's a fantastic coach. I really do. He has to get they have mishandled, which a lot of coaches do, coming off of a Super Bowl win. It's not easy to get back there. It's not easy to keep everyone focused on winning. When you don't have a ring and you haven't won a championship, it's a lot easier for your message to get across to these guys, and they'll buy in. The problem is this year, because they've had the success, how many people are actually buying in? I know the coach is still preaching the same things. I'm imagining he's not taking any shortcuts. But are the players buying into it? And particularly on offense. I don't know what's going on with this offensive line. I don't know. But what I do know is I can't for two or 3 years straight say we got the best offensive line in football. This is where it starts in the trenches and everything else. Well, it's right. When they play well, the team plays well. The team plays well. How many positive plays did they have yesterday get called back?
Oh, 3 huge ones.
My goodness, how many plays on offense got called back because of something stupid we did on offense?
I agree with you. I agree, but I just think it's been there all year. It's been there all
year.
They haven't solved it all year.
It has been there all year. I agree.